Hello everyone! Let's talk about Ashton Edwards and gender nonconformity in ballet. First, let's just talk about dance. Though there are a plethora of definitions as to what is and is not dance, pretty much everyone can agree that dance is a performing art that uses movement in the human body to convey a meaning. And because dance is all about the aesthetic of the body, the shape of the body, and the interaction of the body with other bodies, it inherently takes on many of the social preconceptions that we have about the body, gender included. Now, ballet is a specific subgenre of dance designed to be performed in a concert venue on a stage. You could sit here for a week straight and listen to me talk to you about the various interpretations of gender in other concert dance forms or in social dance or in historic cultural dances, but this is a 6-minute crash course. Ballet was born out of the Western European court system, and its movement vocabulary was codified during the tail end of the Holy Roman Empire, meaning ballet is a product of white Christianity and brings with it all of those fun white Christian hang-ups about gender and sexuality. We see the Western gender binary in ballet in a bunch of different places. For one, there are different men's and women's movements. In classes and on the stage, men are expected to jump high, turn quick, and have a lot of big, striking movements. Women, on the other hand, tend to have smaller, more intricate footwork and forgo the huge, flashy jumps for a controlled and impossibly high leg extension. For another, the characters and stories of these ballets are based on Western European fairy tales, which means pretty much everything is about princes and princesses, star-crossed lovers, fairies, or princes in star-crossed love with a fairy. In classical ballet, there is very little room to get outside of these extremely gendered character tropes. This then lends itself to the gender binarist crux of classical ballet, the pas de deux. For the uninitiated, the pas de deux is a romantically coded duet that serves as the climax of every classical ballet. It involves a lot of partner work and lifting, and is basically designed for a big, strong man to parade around a dainty, waifish woman and show off how beautiful she is. Even as ballets have become more contemporary and lost the sense of structured plot, this style of extremely binarist partner work has remained at the forefront of ballet choreography. The other facet of classical ballet that has remained in a strict binary over time is the pointe shoes. They are pink, they are satin, they are specially constructed to allow you to float onto the very tips of your toes like an ephemeral spirit, and they are exclusively for women. It's only within the last few years that the ballet world has even begun thinking about shifting to a gender-neutral use of the pointe shoe. Now, that's not to say that there's been zero history of gender nonconformity in ballet. In fact, GNC ballet roles can be found in the original choreography of several classical ballets, but they're all examples of the man in a dress trope where the said man in a dress is either evil, played for laughs, or both. The next major instance of gender nonconformity in ballet comes from the mid-1800s, when the travesty theatrical craze swept through the dance world. During this era, it was all the rage to have women dancers dress in men's costumes and perform men's roles such as princes or soldiers, and occasionally do a pas de deux with another woman. Many of these dancers were outspoken about the freedom and the power that they felt in their ability to synthesize masculinity and femininity on stage. But it is also important to note that this fad was occurring during an era where most ballet theaters earned a large portion of their profits from rich men who sponsored the young female dancers backstage, meaning that the travesty ballerina was in part a marketing scheme to tickle more fancies. After this, the next major force for gender nonconformity in ballet was the formation of Les Ballets Trocadero de Monte Carlo, an all-male drag company put together in the aftermath of Stonewall. The Trocs have been performing with an increasing amount of fame since 1974 and are still in existence today. The company members perform men's or women's roles as needed to put on versions of the same ballets that all classical companies keep in their repertoire. The company prides itself on its inclusive use of the pointe shoe and on its ability to challenge the gender binary that so much of ballet is based around. The Trocs don't take themselves too seriously, though. A lot of their shows play the comedic potential to the max, making the vibe rather different from most ballet companies. Also, in recent years, some ex-members have raised harassment claims against the Trocs, saying that they were bullied for being too feminine and not looking enough like a man in drag. Which finally brings us to Ashton Edwards. Edwards is a professional dancer in the Pacific Northwest Ballet. They had just entered their first year in the company when the pandemic hit, and in their time working from home, outside the confines of a gendered studio, they began self-training in pointe technique. After 9 months, they petitioned PNB to let them dual study in pointe technique with the women and in men's technique classes, and they were allowed to do so. They instantly made national news as not only a gender-fluid, but also black ballet dancer. PNB is an extremely well-regarded company, and for them to publicly encourage one of their dancers to embody a gender-fluid ballet technique is groundbreaking. Edwards has been very outspoken on the news and on social media about defying the binarism and racism on which ballet was built. By shaking these constructs to their core, they could very well end up fundamentally changing how the technique itself is taught, choreographed, and performed. Indeed, Edwards' story is reflective of a larger change that is just beginning to bubble over in the ballet world. Other dancers such as Jana Ledford, Scout Alexander, and Chase Johnsey, to name a very few, are bringing their trans bodies to the professional stage, and companies such as Ballet 22, of which Edwards is a member, Ballet de Barcelona, and Ballets are challenging the gender binary for technique training and performance roles. As a queer ballerina myself, I very much look forward to seeing where this movement goes in the next few years.